Social anxiety. Time to put a stop to awkwardness and shyness. Learn to cure social anxiety with expert techniques to calm yourself in everyday life. And tips for strengthening self-confidence. Written by Jane Moss. Narrated by Rolf Daves. Credits narrated by Nebrada.
Introduction. Congratulations on purchasing Social Anxiety, Guide to Overcoming Anxiety and Shyness, and thank you for doing so. Depression and anxiety are common mental health concerns that affect millions of people for all ages, genders, and races. Each diagnosis is unique to the person, and there are many treatment options and combinations of treatments that can make a difference. Depression can be treated, and someone who is depressed can find a way out of it. There's many misconceptions when it comes to understanding the nuances of depression, phobias, and anxiety disorders. These misconceptions often paint the illness in a much negative light. The truth of the matter is that everybody has fears. Everyone feels stressed, and everyone has moments in which the demands of life weigh heavily on their shoulders. Depression has many causes, and no one person with this diagnosis is going to have the same symptoms or reactions. This guide is meant to be a helpful and informative book that explains these complicated diagnoses in simple terms. While a guide like this shouldn't replace the advice of a trained medical or mental health professional, helping people understand what depression is and how it can be managed is going to provide hope for those who struggle daily to overcome this condition. The following chapters will provide an insight into depression and social anxiety, two of the most common mental health diagnoses, and will provide suggestions as well as tips on how to manage depression and social anxiety. Other chapters will discuss techniques and supplements as a formal treatment plan and focus on achieving a healthy mind and body, as well as how to best utilize family and friends to work towards the lifting of depression. This is a portion of the book that talks about the seriousness of depression. It covers the consequences to health because of the depressed mind, and it talks about suicide and as well as the myths that obstruct better understanding of this very real consequence of depression. Addictions and self-harm also manifest when depression is undiagnosed and untreated. There's plenty of books on this subject in the market, but thank you for choosing this one. Every effort was made possible to ensure it has been full of as much as useful information as possible. Please enjoy. Chapter 1. Understanding Anxiety and Social Anxiety. The mind is a marvelous part of the human experience. It controls life functions, and it stores memories. It allows us to learn, speak, see, and experience life. It processes emotions. It allows us to reason, and carries recollections of our triumphs and our tragedies. Its capabilities are limitless. But it's also fragile. It can be influenced by trauma, by a chemical imbalance, or by some sort of illness. Its instincts are designed to protect the human being from danger or threats, but sometimes that response overwhelms. Sometimes the apprehension a person has prevents them from taking an active role in life, and sometimes things that used to matter just don't anymore. Sometimes friends and family members are shut out, and being alone becomes the only choice. Anxiety as well as depression are two of the most prevalent mental health diagnoses today. That means that people who have had these concerns don't have to feel like they're alone. Others have struggled with similar issues, and others have been overwhelmed by anxiety. Others have found ways to manage and cope with the symptoms as well as the disorder. An important consideration is that anxiety disorders aren't the same for everybody. Each person is triggered by something completely different, depending on their own life experiences and self-consciousness. So, what is anxiety? Expectant parents are going to feel anxious as they anticipate the birth of their child. A spouse might be anxious to hear the update from a surgeon about whether the surgery to remove a cancerous tumor went well. A high school student is even anxious about stepping onto the stage to perform in the school's talent show.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?